Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the Superstars of Wrestling Review series. This is the May 28th, 1994 edition. We've got about maybe 4 or 5, about 8 more of these in total through the midpoint of 1994, and always adding when we can. But May of 1994, this is actually the first time I've seen this stuff since it originally aired, so long time. 94 and 95, 94 through 96, hard to come by. You can a lot of tape traders could get superstars back in the tape trading days of the early 2000s, the late 90s. 87 through 92 were common. 93 through the end of the show, running first run matches, which I'm pretty sure stopped at the beginning of 97. Those were tough years to come across. Anyway, Diesel against PJ Walker. PJ Walker eventually goes on to face or to become just incredible, but here Walker is a enhancement talent for Diesel. Diesel, of course, your Intercontinental Champion, which he holds on to until SummerSlam of same year. Punch kick with Diesel, obviously, you're not going to see him do a lot. To be fair, PJ Walker gets a couple of drop kicks off. Nothing really to write home about, but he gets a little bit of run there. Big man working like a big man and doesn't leave his feet. Diesel, of course, with the big sidewalk slam, the big boot, and eventually the jackknife powerbomb gets the victory. Diesel, of course, going into the King of the Ring as the challenger for the WWF Championship, not defending his Intercontinental title, but a champion versus champion match, which at the time was rare. It had happened before 1980. I think it happened once or twice. Backlund was a double champion in a couple of cases. Of course, Warrior and Hogan led to double champs temporarily, but that is that. And then we go to review of the King's Court from the previous week's Raw. Roddy Piper again saying that Jerry Lawler's going too far with things. The Smoking Guns in an enhancement talent match. Of course, the Guns not really on top of their game, but also kind of a staple in the tag team division. Billy and Bart Gunn. Billy Gunn's still around all these years later, more than 30 years later. Enhancement talent match here. Obviously highlighting the Guns, and I think Mike Bell and Mike Sharp are the opponents. I know Iron Mike Sharp is the opponent, but Sharp miscues with his tag team partner, and Billy Gunn taking a good deal there. Rolls through and a couple of drop kicks. Billy Gunn, obviously always better as a tag team wrestler. Still amazed to see him 30 years later in the wonder that is, or 25 years later anyway, in the wonder that is AEW at this point. And by the way, their pay-per-view All Out is happening, or it is has just concluded as we speak, and so that review will be up later this evening as well. Anyway, the 2021 edition of that show. Anyway, comments for that upcoming a little bit later. So we see Gunn come off. Bart Gunn comes in with a huge elbow drop. Elbow drops were a big thing back then. Also the Sidewinder finish, and the Guns get the victory. We see the Hall of Fame class, I believe. 93, the first year they have a Hall of Fame just inducting Andre the Giant. This year they actually have a ceremony. Chief Jay Strongbow, Freddie Blassie, Gorilla Monsoon, James Dudley, the limo driver of the McMahons, Arnold Skoland, Bobo Brazil, and Buddy Rogers is that induction class. Also, they mentioned doing some charity work for a charity dealing with kids in Harlem area, and 500 dignitaries were there for that. Then we see, Adam Baum and the 1-2-3 Kid as promised on the previous week's program. Adam Baum still at this point managed by Harvey Whippleman, although his babyface turn is right around the corner if I remember correctly. And he's there through the midpoint of 1995 as a babyface. Of course, 1-2-3 Kid, Sean Waltman, X-Pac, 6-Pac, whatever you want to call him. Actually, I love the Kid in this role and his GWF role. Obviously, power versus speed. A lot of martial arts style maneuvers by Waltman. suplexes and body slam, snap suplexes and the like. Cranks down, and actually, looking back at the match, it doesn't look very believable. However, Kid selling is sufficient enough that Baum looks pretty good. Miscue between Baum and everything leads to Kid picking up a victory. Quang comes out, interferes in the match, does the mist, and ends up misting Adam Baum, causing the roll-up. Kid gets a quick victory. Roll-up finishes way too plentiful in 2021, but a reasonable finish here in 1994. And then we go to Mr. Fuji bringing out his team, otherwise known as Crush and Yokozuna. Yokozuna, of course, at this point, moving towards the tag team division here. Yoko coming in and getting into it with an enhancement talent, couple of shots. Yoko actually, in this particular case, in a singles match, blocking off and manages to hit the chop. Not exactly a match worth worrying about. Leg drop by Yoko, belly to belly, and the bonsai drop. Yoko still in singles at this point. Heartbreak Hotel teased a little bit. Heartbreak Kid basically saying that Bret Hart is going to fall to Diesel. That is their plan at the King of the Ring. That's the short version of that. Then we see a King of the Ring report. Bret Hart also reminding Diesel once again, your title's not on the line. I don't think you're ready. They're teasing the return of a Hart family member, which ends up being, I believe, Jim Neidhart in the corner of Bret Hart, or maybe the British Bulldog. I don't actually. No, it is Jim Neidhart, and that's right, because Neidhart turns on Bret at the King of the Ring '94. Well, of course, they don't announce that. They kind of do the intrigue thing. Roddy Piper petting a dog in the back of a pickup truck. To plug the match with Jerry Lawler, says he doesn't want to do wrestling talk. He wants to actually win. Owen Hart says, of course, he is in the King of the Ring deal because he's the King of Hearts. Owen Hart, to me, is an underrated guy. I think he still could have been a major force in the championship run. IRS and Mabel have qualified. Also, another King of the Ring qualifying match, Tatanka and Jimmy Del Rey. Upcoming. Oddly enough, they ran King of the Ring on Father's Day that year in 1994. Enhancement talent match for IRS. Of course, IRS doing the tax gimmick, saying that 5% of the U.S. population makes over $100,000 a year, but they pay 30-some% of the taxes. Well, that makes logical sense. Anyway, the Italian stallion Gary Starbaugh, I believe, is the opponent for IRS in this one. Punch kick, lots of basic stuff. IRS running clothesline, and then we see a emergency rescue van person, medical vehicle, being the next person to have seen The Undertaker. Ted DiBiase in a funeral home saying that he has once again cornered the market on the Undertaker, and he's going to bring The Undertaker back. That happens over the next couple of weeks. Jimmy Del Rey and Tom Pritchard, the Heavenly Bodies, here in 1994, get their opportunity. Del Rey kind of takes over on the enhancement talent and pretty well brawls with the guy. Tom Pritchard, a guy that comes into WWF too late for my liking. I wish I would have seen a late 80s or early 90s Tom Pritchard in the WWF. I don't think Tom ever got the due that he was worthy of. Of course, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, USWA, and the other Memphis level promotions, Alabama and other areas got a lot of Tom Pritchard, but he never got the national due. Of course, does the Body Donis thing in 95, 96, but tremendous trainer, tremendous guy. Had a chance to do a couple camps with Dr. Tom over the years. Phenomenal guy, undervalued. Anyway, babyface enhancement talent to get a little bit of a cutoff, drop kick, but obviously the guns or the Heavenly Bodies get the victory, and that's not a big surprise by any stretch of the imagination. They come down with wings on, literally. Dissension talked about between Adam Baum and Harvey Whippleman. Adam Baum basically wants to take Whippleman out of action completely, and Baum is basically ending his relationship with Harvey indirectly. Doesn't say so, but that inference is there. We'll be back with more right after this.